Hey guys, Oscar here. Just talking a little bit for the live stream. There's nobody here yet, but I've invited a few people. I've put some messages, and I just want to talk about the Mobe situation. So I know a lot of you are concerned with first your money, your particular situation as to how do you move forward. Should you stop trying to build a business online and things like that? So let's talk about that. So let me share the link a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. So, if nobody comes in, then I guess I'll just won't publish this live chat, but it's on for now. Also inviting anybody that is one of the Mobe haters, which, I'm not happy with Mobe at the time right now, but I also understand business. So let's just see how it goes. This is my first live video on YouTube. So I can understand there's nobody here. I wonder if there's anything else I could do to publicize this. Let's see, participant. No, I don't know. That's it. Oh, there's Becky. Hi, what's up? It would be cool if people could join, but I guess just in the chat. And, I don't know. Everybody's very bummed out. I've been answering calls and messages and chats. I just posted that other video earlier today. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks for showing up. So there's 3 of you guys. Please let me know in the comments that you're here. I want to hear some questions that I may be able to address. And can you hear me okay? I'm not sure if this is working properly, so I can always switch to one of my other headsets. I'm sure you guys have seen that viral video with, I forgot his name, the guy that got fired from Fox or something. Where he just gets pissed and starts saying, F it, we'll do it like, okay, sound is fine, good. Jay Hess, okay, cool. If I know you and I don't recognize your name, please let me know where I know you from. I know we use different names on different platforms, so I may not recognize your image or your name. So please drop some questions in the comments about, or in the chat about what you would like to know in regards to the Mobe situation. I'll tell you everything I know. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll tell you what I think you should do. And I'll even give you personal advice since there's nobody else here to ask questions. I'll be happy to answer your specific question in regards to whatever is in your mind about it. But let me open up another side window here so I can have some notes, because what I want to warn you guys about right away is the vultures. This happens every time anything happens. When a product dies, when a company pulls an affiliate program out, or when a case is as extreme as this, where an FTC investigation is underway, essentially the company gets shut down. But there's all these people that come out of the woodwork trying to tell you, oh, I feel so bad for you, but I have something for you. Come on down and here and join this. And that is like the lowest of the low of the scammiest in the industry. These are, we are all opportunistic to some degree. These are like the scum. And there's a person I've had a bit of a chat with on their Facebook channel, because they totally lied to their viewers. And of course, you listen to the video, it's 8, 9, 10 minutes. And at the very end, they're like, oh, by the way, I have a good solution for you. This is the best solution ever. And they send you in, and it turns out to be another basic, multi-level scheme that is no better than anything you've tried before. But you are desperate, and you are hopeful that there's still a glimmer of hope out there that will fix the problem for you. And I want you to step back and think about the situation you find yourself in. You might have invested $50. You might have invested 50,000. I have people that invested 120,000, and when you have some money on the line, your mind may not be exactly logical when it comes down to the notion of you having lost that money. I feel terrible for you if you are new to Mobe, and by new I mean in the past 3 months, because you probably hadn't had a chance to take action and implement some things, or you were overwhelmed by the amount of information. And at this point, if you're in that boat, Mobe hasn't done anything wrong towards you. It's FTC that actually locked up your money. So for the foreseeable future, as I said in my previous video, whatever investment you made into Mobe is locked away. It's untouchable. Mobe can't use it. They can't refund it. The FTC is not going to take it and say, oh, well, we have Mike Smith that put in $2,500. Let's send it back to them. It doesn't work that way. They're going to go through the motions of their investigation. If it gets to a point where Mobe does not settle or agrees to some sort of correction because they feel they're in the right, then what's going to happen is the thing will go to trial. That will drag out for a number of months, probably over a year, maybe 2 years. At that point, if the FTC wins, then they will be ordering Mobe to pay some sort of restitution or give the money back. But you're not going to get your money back 100%. You're going to get pennies on the dollar if you're lucky. So keep that in mind. But the next thing you have to do is, okay, if this is your first experience in internet marketing, it's terrible. It gives me and everybody that is honest and does hard work and provides value, it gives us a bad name because now we're going to be lumped into that group. And I wholeheartedly believe that Matt has great intentions, and the business changed my life. It's changed hundreds, even thousands of people's lives. But you're always going to have certain people that complain, that they don't take action, they don't follow the steps, they don't follow advice. I had people come to me that wanted to do their own way of doing things, and I had to explain, this is how it works on internet marketing. This is how you do this. And eventually they came around and fixed it, and they started making money. But those people that were stubborn and stuck to their ways, one, never got off the ground because they were too stuck to basically think that they knew better, but they had to make it their way, and they never actually did that. So what happened is they basically never took any action. It was all about planning, and we talk about that on whether you're doing blogging, internet marketing, making a product, promoting an existing product, or whether you're an internet marketer working for a company and that's your day job. People like that don't make it because they're always getting ready to get ready. They're always looking to do one more thing because they, in their mind, they told themselves that they are looking for that one thing, but they need to learn one more thing. And this happens. I've had students that do this, and they say, "Oh, well, now I need to learn Twitter." And yeah, as soon as I know how to do Twitter and I build a following there, I'm going to launch. And once they get into Twitter, they'll hear about Instagram. Like, oh, now I have to do Instagram, and I should be doing that too. And then they go into this tangent, and they didn't really learn Twitter, but now they're onto Instagram, and their website's kind of falling behind, and their project is falling behind. And yes, these are, Becky, you're absolutely right. These are perpetual learners. I've been to seminars and conferences. One of my most unbelievable stories, back in 2011 or 2012, sometime around when my daughter was born, my firstborn, I went to a conference that it was like $400, nothing related to Mobe, but it was about creating a product, pitching it from a stage, selling it as what's called a platform venue. So think about like Tony Robbins, and when you go to events and the speaker tells you a great story, and then they try to sell you something. So it was really great. The name was Joel Bauer. Look him up. He's a very interesting guy. He has a viral video of He has the best business card in the world, and it's a tremendous video. And then he explained actually how he made that video and why that video was so successful at the time. But I met a lady there that had been to conferences earlier in the year and the year before. And I wanted to talk to her because Joel sells a package of $15,000 for an 8-day intensive workshop, where it's basically sunrise to sunset, non-stop learning, application. Is really, really impressive, but it is $15,000. And then he has another one that is more one-on-one. I think you can spend, I want to say $25,000 to spend a day with him, one-on-one, in his private office and stuff like that. But Joel has a special touch of how he makes people want to buy stuff. And you know, I'm a marketer, I'm a salesperson. I know when I see those. And what happened is, he made his pitch, and before he was done, this lady next to me decided she was going to go buy it. And she stood in line to go buy the product right there because, you know, one of the things that Joe does is say, hey, you know, first 10 people are going to get a discount and an extra bonus. And sure enough, people want to buy it. But before he finished the bonus, she was up there ready to buy. And I asked her later, I caught up with her. She told me, you know, she's been to like 6 different conferences before, but this was going to be the one. And then I said, you know, the conferences she mentioned were expensive. These were not like free conferences or, you know, $500 conferences. But when I asked her, well, how much have you spent? She had spent over $250,000 in travel expenses and conferences. And I know that by the end of that day, she purchased a $15,000 conference. And later on, she still went to other conferences. I know she didn't do anything that she's been learning for the past 12 months. And so there's a big problem with people like that. Emotionally and to their own satisfaction, they may be getting a really, really strong reward, and that fulfills them, and that makes them feel like they have a purpose, that they're learning and they're growing, and that's perfectly fine, and that can be true. However, she had the money to spend. She happened to have, you know, $250,000 sitting around, I guess, or maybe money in her earlier years or whatever. But I know a lot of people that start an online business or follow an aggressive pitch or a very, how would you say, attractive offer. They may put all their money into it or do anything possible to put money into it to get started. And I feel those are the people I feel the worst for, because they haven't looked into themselves as to why they haven't taken any action, because they have the opportunities. They've had opportunities before, but they're looking for something else. And rather than that, you should look into yourself and say, how do I take advantage of what I know? How do I start? What tools do I actually need to apply my knowledge? Or what do I need to buy to compensate for my lack of understanding or the gaps in expertise so that I can start? The problem is they're always looking to learn more, but they don't set a start date. They don't set a goal. They say, oh, you know, that's on the back burner. It's a side project, so when I get around to it, but they're spending money. But they're not actually setting a goal to say, I will start this by the 10th of the month. Whether I have this other part ready or not, at least I will start. And your main goal when you start a business should be to generate revenue immediately, as fast as you can, as soon as you can. That's your goal. Without revenue, your company will die, unless you happen to have, you know, a big supply of cash to keep feeding you, which is bad to some degree, because you will be a little bit lazy. You will be a little bit complacent if things are going slow or not working out. You have, oh, well, I have a little bit more money. You know, if I don't get a sale today, then tomorrow will be okay, because I can go to my reserves and stuff. And that's the wrong approach. Oh, we have a thing here. I think people sometimes misunderstand the concept of investing in yourself. No amount of money you spend matters unless you take action. Exactly. If you don't take action, it doesn't matter. You have to take action. And most of what we teach online, what everybody teaches online, from MIT to me to Matt Lloyd, you can learn from Google for free. And I'm not advocating that you do that, because here's the problem. If you if you think that you can learn everything from Google, that's absolutely true. The problem is that you don't know what you don't know, and you're going to struggle at the beginning. For example, right off the bat, just to understand the lingo, to understand the proper terminology about the field that you're about to enter. If you don't know that, that's going to take you a significant amount of time just to research enough so that you understand the basics that will allow you to actually start searching for what you need. So that's step number one. Then the other part would be, okay, now that you know a few terms and you get, okay, well, I should start with this. Well, now you're going to find, on any Google search, 10 results by 10 different people, 10 different companies, and 10 different approaches to do the same thing. Now, how are you going to decide which one's the right one? How are you going to decide that, result number 3 on Google is actually better than result number 1 for your particular case? And how do you determine that if you're brand new? Now, once you, let's say you get past that and you say, okay, well, this is the one I want to learn. This guy sounds good. Other people recommended him. Perfect. And you start going in and you learn first lesson. You find some YouTube videos by the person, maybe a blog post here, a blog post there. And then you're like, okay, now you know a little bit more. But then you find out that this person now has to continue the program is a paid program, and you have no idea. And it happens to be out of your money, out of your price range. Well, now you have to go back to square one, or square two, I guess, and pick another person, another method, another technique to follow and try to make that work. That alone could take you weeks or months just to determine what is good content and what is bad content. And once you do that, now you've lost the momentum and the drive to do what you wanted to do to begin with. And you're going to be a little bit burned out. And now you have all this knowledge that is just kind of floating around in your brain without any structure or purpose. So you will deceive yourself thinking that you're a bit of an expert when you're not. You just happen to know a bunch of stuff that, yeah, okay, you can talk somewhat intelligently about a specific term, but if we dig deeper, you don't know what you're talking about. So you'll continue on that loop, and then eventually you're going to hit a point where it goes back to what I was saying about getting distracted and trying to learn more, and you're going to find the shiny object that said, oh, that's it. That's exactly what I've been looking for the past 2 months, and I need to buy that. And then you go buy it, and you realize you don't know how to use it. So then you start all over to just learn how to use it. And when it's all said and done, it's been 12 months, and you haven't done anything, and you spent a fortune. Don't do that. When you've decided that you want to start an online business, it's perfectly acceptable, and I advise you to buy a book, to buy a business course, to buy a training course. Because the training course, while it may not be perfect and it may not teach you everything there is to know about the topic, it is structured. It has a method to get you from point A to point B, steps in between, caveats about doing certain things a certain way, the benefits of doing it this way, the benefits of doing this and this and that. And at least when you're done with that, you have a working process that you can apply. And then you can learn more. Then you can say, okay, well, now how do I do this extra thing and integrate into the business? But at least you go through a week course, 2 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. Doesn't matter. But it's a course. And there's free courses out there, and there's paid courses. I've taken free courses that are way better than some paid courses. And there's paid courses out there that are mind-blowing as far as the content and the training. That happened to be one of the ones. Mobe happened to be one of those. So I highly recommend that you don't stop looking for a course that helps you learn, but just be careful about how you pick that course. And also, don't deceive yourself into the idea that you can just Google for anything and you're going to learn. Because while it is true, the downsides are very, very subtle, but they can be devastating to your ego, to your emotional well-being, to your wallet, and ultimately to the well-being of your business. So it's okay to do a course, and it's okay if you made a mistake and you feel like you were taken for a ride with your money, with Mobe specifically. I happen to believe that we were not scammed. I mean, I personally, I made money every single time I invested into Mobe, and I built a business around Mobe support and helping people integrate whatever business they had into Mobe and to make money with the Mobe products and the Mobe businesses, but by applying my methods. So I teach about authenticity, blogging, social media, and building a legacy rather than building for cash. So yeah, it's fairly easy, and most marketers will tell you, if you do this, this, and this, you can make a couple $1,000s in a couple of days. But then you have to question your integrity and the ethics of how you're actually achieving that. If it's all clear and everything's good and you just happen to strike gold, that's great. But if it sounds too good to be true, it may just be too good to be true. So stay, be careful with that. I'm not saying don't do it and don't try it, but be aware of the risks. So I've been going on for a little bit now. If you guys have any questions, please jump in. Becky's the only one talking. So, but yes, I agree with everything you've said so far, Becky. Let me see if I wish you guys could jump into the video. We should have done a Google Hangout instead. So, anyway, let me post the link so if anybody wants to see it, and also there's some links that are not floating around yet. I'm making a report about this, and I'll try to keep you guys up to date. But I'm really more into moving on to whatever is next. But here's an interesting thing. This is a receiver of the case, and a receiver for where can I find a good FTC compliant disclosure sample to add to my blog? Hi, Femi. Good to see you here. So if you just Google for that, pay attention to the sources where they come from. But I tend to go to the top people that are doing it right, or the networks that are supporting affiliates, and see what they do and how they handle it. For example, I'm a big share sale affiliate. Not big, but I have a lot of products that I promote from there. So I follow their advice. And ultimately, when it comes down to the law, and do not take this as legal advice. This is just my opinion. I'm not an attorney by any means. And even as a professional consultant, I wouldn't give you legal advice. But this is what I've done and what I understand the law to how the law works. If you read the directions of any authoritative entity, be it FTC, be it FCC, or health or banking, if you're in FINRA related businesses, whatever it is that you are doing, read the entirety of the regulation. And there's a lot of things that people confuse. There's law, there's statutes, there's policies, and there's recommendations. Those may or may not be the actual terms, but the spirit of that matters, because a recommendation say, hey, you know what, this is something you should be doing, while a law says this is what it is, and you have to abide by it. And there's a spectrum in between that. But what I've always found, whether it's a civil law or a federal law or any type of law, is if you break it, if you don't follow it, there's going to be a few factors taken into consideration. One of them will be, were you aware of that you were breaking the law, which, since you're asking the question, you are aware that there's a law, so you know that. But did you intentionally break it? And then what's your implementation? If you tried to implement it, but you did it wrong, was your implementation adhering to the spirit of the law? Right? So for example, the FTC said that your disclosure to an affiliate link or a promotional link or a promotional paid advertisement or blog post should be conspicuous and visible immediately, and there should be no question about that, about the fact that it's a promotion. Well, if you look at my disclosures, I basically make it painfully obvious at the beginning, hey, this is a sponsored blog post, and I go on a couple of sentences, and then I send it to my disclosure page, which I wrote. I wrote without legal interaction, without consulting anybody, because I'm following the spirit of the law by disclosing my information. And I'm not generating millions of dollars, and I'm also not generating most of my income from that type of content or sponsored posts. But I disclose right there, and I say, I basically, every single piece of content on this website makes me money. I also have it at the bottom of my links, and I guess I can go and get a blog post as I'm talking with you guys to show you an example. But a more specific thing would be if you just look for FTC influencer disclosure template or influencer disclosure examples. There's the first page is going to be loaded with really top results. But if you go back to your email list or to your emails that you've received over the past couple months, if you're associated with some of the top companies, they have sent you guidelines on how they want you to implement, for example, the GDPR disclosures and stuff like that. Follow those advices. I know that the WP Beginner guys, WPBeginner.com, and then Upton Monster, I know they sent out information, some procedures, and some practical advice on how to implement some of those things. And this applied a lot to what the FTC says. I believe that GDPR is totally overreaching, but that's just my opinion about certain things. And I actually haven't even addressed it on my site. But I'll show you. I'll put a link here and show you one of my disclosures just so you can see how it is that I do it. Because it's interesting that a lot of people freak out about the legalities of how to disclose that stuff. And I think it just comes down to the spirit of the law. If you're going to, sorry, I need to plug my laptop. If you're going to do a promoted post on Instagram, for example, and you're going to get paid for product placement, you have to say that in your in the post. It has to be obvious. You have to say, you can no longer get away with just saying hashtag ad, for example. That used to be a thing where it's like, oh, I could just say hashtag ad, and that means that I've disclosed. You have to say sponsor post, or what I do is I try to integrate it into the natural, into my natural content. So for example, I may say, hey guys, this company sent me this for free, check it out. I'm going to review it. And by the way, if you use my link, I'll get paid, and I actually gave you a discount, so go ahead and use it. So I didn't have a very hard set disclaimer that says, oh, by you clicking on this, you accept responsibility that you're going to pay me money and this and that and this and that. I just basically talk like a natural person, a human being, say, hey, you know, if you use my stuff, I'm going to get paid, and I appreciate it. So let's move on with a review, and I do that kind of stuff. You say, right now I have a disclaimer in terms of service, and I deleted all my affiliate links, so I should be okay, right? Well, I mean, like I said, given that I'm not an attorney, I think you should be okay, but I'm more concerned with the fact that you deleted your affiliated links. Do you mean you deleted your Mobe specific? Are you talking about Mobe specifically? If so, then I understand that. But I also have something to say about that. And that is, I've been advising people since day one with Mobe and for years before Mobe. Always, always, always use a link shortener that you control 100%. I use this system. Oh, they don't let me post. This is ridiculous. They don't let me post on my own account. Yeah, so for Mobe specific links only. So yes, the best advice. And if you look at the link I sent you right before that from the receiver, he's an attorney. He's a not mediator. He's a person that takes control of Mobe's assets and works with the FTC basically for the investigation. It's kind of a bit of a third party, but they're really on the side of the government. So his advice is to immediately stop promoting anything related to Mobe, because if they're found to be guilty, basically, then you could be breaking federal law. He doesn't say that you are, but there's a chance that you are. So I definitely remove all links. But what I would have done, and this is what I did for me, and I'm still going through because I have, I don't know, I've cleaned about 35 blog posts, and I have more to go through. But basically, I have a link tracker system. And what that does is, instead of putting my affiliate link as Mobe gave it to me, or as any other company, I take that link and I put it into my system and I create a short link, much like tinyurl or bit.ly, or Google's version is .gd. And what that does is it gives me a short link with whatever keyword I wanted to put in. For example, for most specifically, I had MTTB. For MTTB, I had MLR for MLR, I had silver for silver, things like that. So I have this whole database. I had, I believe, over 100 and some links for Mobe only, including Mobe Motors, the homepage, all that stuff. It's a nightmare to go to all your blog posts and remove them. If you post it in a Facebook group, in a forum, if you've sent an email out to people, there's certain places where you don't even have access to go and delete it. So you're out of luck with those. But if you have the link tracker system or Linktree, or there's a million of them, or there's hundreds of them, you go into your database, as I did, and I select all my links, and I say redirect to my homepage. So anytime now you find one of my links, whether it's a comment on a forum, in my ebook, on old videos I might have forgotten to check, basically, if you click on that, it's no longer going to go to a broken link and a broken website. It's going to go to my homepage. Now, over the next few weeks, I may go back into each one of those links and try to find a relevant product or service that matches what it was supposed to be. For example, if I was sending people to the email marketing course, which is one of the things I was promoting with Mobe. Basically, now I can send them to either my own email marketing course or another one that I find on ShareSale, ClickBank, Click Commission Junction, or whatever. And essentially, I don't lose all that effort that I spent over the past couple of years building links and talking to people and answering questions or building an ebook and all that stuff. So always, always, always use something like Link Tracker. Do not use bit.ly, because bit.ly doesn't really let you go in and modify the links later. It's great to have a branded link and all that, but it doesn't really let you modify it later. So bit.ly is just an example that most people will understand, but you can then build your own using Link Tracker. Please use my link, by the way. I will get a nice commission. But there's also Pretty Links Pro if you have WordPress only, or if you have, there's also, I believe, URLs. It sounds, URLs, just like that. It's a plugin for WordPress. So those kind of things are pretty useful. You can do it in any way you want. I mean, if you wanted to get technical, you could build it yourself on your WordPress website. And you can't actually mass update. I misspoke on that, but you can search for all of them. And the way I do it is, I'm sure some of them let you mass update, but Link Tracker doesn't. But if you use your open new tab, basically what I did is I updated like 15 at a time, super fast. I just held the command button, open up in new tabs. Now once they're all open, I just go into each one, paste my link, save, and close it, paste my link, close it, and go on and so on. So it's pretty, it took me about 45 minutes to do that part. One of the downsides of doing the disclosure the way I do it, what I tell you where I put it naturally into the text, is that second stage that I'm in right now, going through my blog post, where I really have to go carefully through each blog post and remove mentions of it, because I didn't make it programmatically or systematically. I can just turn it on or off. I really tried to integrate the language into it. So what I have it basically is just to read through my blog post, either update the content or remove it altogether. If it's, I'm finding out if it's over like 50% Mobe related, I'm pulling it off for further review. And then if it's worth keeping it around, I'll just fix it up and post it back. So thanks for the question. I appreciate it. I hope I answered it. And okay, so you say, okay, I have Link Tracker. Also, I have to make all my YouTube videos private. I want to post an update moving forward. Oh, yeah, most definitely. You can mention, yeah, absolutely. You can do that. I made maybe, I don't know, I've gone through so many things over the past weekend, people calling me, bawling their eyes out, crying. They're mad at me, but it's not my fault. I mean, try to help and everywhere I can. I have my own clients. I have to help and fix all this stuff. But I took a lot of my videos, but not all of them. I know that, Femi, I know that you were very, very much doing Mobe only videos. So I guess that would be why you're making all of them private. But yeah, definitely you can mention it. And in fact, you can leverage that right now to get some traffic and get some, you know, the way I did it is I feel like I owe to anybody I promoted Mobe to and to those that I helped, even if I didn't sell you Mobe or the services, if I helped you, I felt a bit of a responsibility to tell you my perspective. And I wanted to get ahead of any speculations or rumors or anything to tell you what I'm doing, what I think you should do. And I did that with my previous video. So I mentioned Mobe. I've been mentioning Mobe here today. And now that, now that you guys showed up, I'm actually going to leave this up and running. So after this is finished, I'll publish it, and so people can watch it as well. But basically, just be careful of this, Femi. And I know that you're in my group. I've known you now for a little over a year. I don't know you personally, but I know you have good intentions. Make sure that you're not doing that vulture thing I mentioned at the beginning. I don't know when you came into the chat, but this is a really sensitive time for a lot of people. And what you see a lot of people doing, and I'll call them by name now because there's a lady named Jennifer Crouch. If you're watching, you're an idiot and a jackass. There's John Weaver. Same idea. Basically, when John Weaver is playing it cool, a little bit different. And I have no qualms about calling out their names because I stand by what I say. But basically, they're vultures. They're looking for ways to take advantage of vulnerable people right now that have either lost money or are upset with Mobe, and they're trying to say, hey, come to our stuff. And they're leveraging the Mobe brand, the Mobe name. The search terms, if you look at the search keywords and their tags, are all basically spamming Mobe-related stuff just to get a little bit of traffic and try to send them to a new offer. Don't do that. I'm speaking to everybody, not just you, but please don't do that. Be mindful of the situation, and obviously be helpful, because that's what people need is help. The money comes in when you are genuine and when you're providing value. And that's why Mobe was so successful, which sucks for us now, because a very, very small, loud minority of whiners and complainers basically reported and complained enough that it raised suspicion. And also, of course, the high-ticket items are going to raise suspicions because it's a high-ticket item. That's the FTC's job. But all right, let's see. I just signed up for Done For You. This affects me a lot. What can I do? Well, I just didn't know about this prior. Is Mobe gone forever? Okay, so I'll answer the first question. Oh, one more thing from Femi. If you have all videos where Mobe CTS at the end, yes, I feel the same way. I want it. Absolutely. So, no, you can certainly put a call to action at the end of it, but be very mindful. Like my call to on the last link I did, on the last video I did for Mobe, I just said, this is my blog. So if you want to learn more about me, whatever, you go to my blog. Then there's obviously pictures there and whatever. But I definitely didn't say, hey, now that this happened, make sure you come and join this, which is what this Weaver guy's doing. There's another lady that says, I'm not here to tell you, that, but this opportunity is better. That's baloney. It's insensitive, it's rude, and you just come across as a scammer, not only to your peers like me, other people that are in our business. We know what you're doing. So don't think that we don't notice, because by virtue of being in business, we're watching competition. We're seeing what everybody else does and see whether we're doing better or can we do better than that and stuff. So we're watching you guys. And, you're basically tainting your reputation by doing that. So, okay. So Wesley Shining, I'm sorry, I don't mean to butcher your name, but I just signed up for Mobe, Done For You sales funnel recently. This affects me a lot. What can I do? I don't want you, or I don't need you to disclose your level of involvement as far as money goes. But let me ask you this: did you buy this Done For You sales funnel directly from Mobe or from a third party, like a solo ad provider or somebody like me? If you can answer that, then I can give you a little more information. To RE, directly from Mobe, you're out of luck. I'm sorry to say, it's not going to be delivered anytime soon. There's not going to be any refunds anytime soon. Now, I could be completely wrong, but just historically speaking, if this is resolved immediately, it will be on the FTC's favor. If this is going to go on Mobe's favor, we're not going to see a positive outcome for the next couple of years. That's just how it's going to be. So what can you do? So you just signed up for Mobe. I'm getting a phone call right now. Let me see. I may have to step out for a minute. So, but okay, so let me try to answer this real quick. Is Mobe gone forever? Practically speaking, yes. Philosophically and in the long term, maybe not. Maybe, I'm not sure. It all depends on the outcome of the investigation. If the investigation finds enough to make Mobe take a settlement, then that should happen. But most likely the settlement will include that Mobe can no longer operate, or they'll have to dramatically change their business like Herbalife did, like other companies like that have done in the past. But for us as business people, you can't wait around for that to happen. You gotta continue your business today, or start building it tomorrow, or start building it now. And imagine that the money that you put into Mobe is gone or locked away and you can't touch it. That's how you take that approach. Think about, like, if you put in a CD account and your bank won't let you touch it for 24 months, that's best case scenario where you might get some of the money back. Usually the judgments award some of the people about half, and then after all is said and done with court cost and whatever it is, you may get a small percentage. It depends. You may not get anything. It all depends. We don't know. If it gets to a really, really bad point, all assets will be liquidated at bottom prices. Island, hotels, any properties, all that will be liquidated. That money will be used to pay restitution to whoever is affected. And I believe that the judge will determine who gets paid first. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about that. You may want to talk to an attorney. Here's something for everybody else watching. If you feel like you want to support Mobe because you feel strong about this, there's a petition going out there. That's bullshit. It's not going to do anything. It's baloney. Not going to do an ounce of anything. But what you can do, and I talked to the FTC, one of the FTC guys in the case this morning, is go and file a complaint in the FTC website. But you file it, it's a complaint, he said, but you can still give positive feedback. And they want to hear from that. They want to hear that one of the problems when things like this happen is that all the odds are stacked against them. If you read the reports, the language being used is accusatory and definitive. The word scheme in itself is a negative keyword. There's a lot of words. If you read the memos and the judgments, they're basically assuming guilt before guilt is determined by a judge or by a jury. And that skews people's perceptions. And a lot of people say, yeah, you know what, they must be guilty. If you feel like they're not, then give that feedback, but do it where it counts. Thoughts and prayers won't matter. Petitions circling around won't matter. Threads of chains and Facebook won't matter. But if you leave a comment to the FTC, then you may be able to get them to put things into perspective. Like what I said earlier, anybody involved in the past 2 or 3 months that paid a significant amount of money but didn't even get a chance to try it, the FTC is the one that's crippling those people, not Mobe, because we have a history of tons of people making money with a good amount of time. So the FTC has essentially prevented that from happening. So give them your feedback if you wish. What I would advise on that front is make sure that you spell check your feedback, make sure it makes sense grammatically. If you go look at the petition comments, it's like a bunch of Neanderthals just wrote drunk or something. It doesn't even make any sense, and that doesn't put you in a good light. When a judge and an attorney and all the people are going to start reading that, they're just going to dismiss that as being some sort of stupid. Like, make a valid argument, show some proof, show some really, like, express yourself properly, like you would do in a courtroom to a judge. Write it, spell check it, break down your paragraph, do that kind of stuff. That matters a lot, guys. And I see that a lot of people, you may speak in a foreign language, so it's a bit of a challenge with that. Get that translated. If this means enough to you for you to get your $2,000 back or $50,000 back, then put some effort into it and show that. Show the investigators, show the people watching that this is serious and you believe in it. So, hello, broken and predictable gamer. Guys, I had to pause this for a minute. I had a phone call from my wife, and I have to get back to her real quick. So if you guys give me a second, I will be right back. Please, please, please put your questions up there. I will answer them. Be back in 1 minute. Right now? Okay, I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay. All right, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I'm probably going to have to get off here in a few minutes, but if you have any questions, please put them up there. I left a comment on somebody's channel, or actually on my own channel. If you go back to my previous video about this, somebody was asking me, what should I do? Please, please, please do not join another business opportunity right now. Take some time to collect your thoughts, plan out what you're going to do next. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're good. I'm saying don't jump from the frying pan into the fire. Take some time. And this is what I would tell everybody to do as far as how you should build a business. And I stress this every time I coach somebody, every time I teach somebody anything, I stress this part. And I'm going to give you a quick summary here. Actually, just go look at the comments on this video when we're finished. There's a video link. Look at the comment where I told somebody basically step 1 through like 9. They're basic and a little bit high level, but that's what you should be doing anytime you start a business. You want to set up the infrastructure and the methodology of how you're going to run your business before you basically make a partnership with a product. Mobe was a product. Yeah, it's a company, but what you're using Mobe as a product to promote to your leads. The biggest problem people are finding now is that that's all they had. They were basically funneling traffic and leads into Mobe. And now that that's gone, they had nothing else. They didn't have their own list. They didn't build a good website. They didn't do anything. They don't have a fallback. They don't have any process to recuperate and get back up in business. You need to have those things in place. So please go check out that video when we're done here, and feel free to ask me any questions. I think I can just load this video and be done. And then you guys will be able to watch it later, and any new people. So I appreciate you guys showing up. I have to take off now, but please leave me any questions. You guys know where to find me. Go to notagrouch.com, contact if you have any questions. I'm on Skype, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it. You can find me, Not a Grouch. I'll be happy to answer questions, and if I can, give you some directions. If not, then maybe I'll point you to the right person that can, or the system that can. Don't give up, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks a lot for showing up. I appreciate it. And for those of you watching after, leave a question. I'll be happy to answer it later. All right. Thanks, Becky. Thanks, Femi, and everyone else that asked a question. Talk to you guys next time. Bye.